This video is for myServicePro users who are using the in-app credit card processing to give suggestions for how to process credit card payments and record transaction. Make note that this also applies to myService Apprentice users. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I have on the screen here is the invoice item or ticket item list where a technician would add items. And I have an item called payment. You can call it whatever you want, but I suggest putting something in there to reflect the payment amount being collected. And as far as the item type, you want to make it either inventory, non-inventory, sales, but you do not actually want to make it a payment type. So what I did here was, in this scenario, I'm collecting a credit card payment of $70. And all I've done here is select my deductible item or my payment item, give it a quantity of 1, more importantly a price of 0, and then in the description I'm just putting payment of $70 and I add it on by CC ending in 1234. I don't know if that will be wanted or not, but that's what I chose to put in there in this case. And then of course I would add any other items down below. I just added one more, but I could add as many as needed. And the payment or deductible doesn't have to be at the top. That can be anywhere, just a matter of preference. So once you add your items, then we're into typically, or the usual process of wrapping up the assignment. So in this case, I'll give it a status of complete. I'm going to say bill now no, just by moving the slider, the bill now slider over. I'll select my tax scheme. In this case, I'll just say no tax, and it'll show me my subtotal and grand total. Well, I want to collect a credit card payment, so I'm just going to tap on card, and when I do that, you'll notice it sees that I did not yet put in any amount collected. So we can just say OK there, enter the amount collected, in this case $70. Okay, so the total is $200, but in this case, you know, it's a service fee or a deductible, however you want to refer to it, of $70. So put that in there, and then just go ahead and tap on card again. This will bring you to the card payment screen. It'll give a little summary information up here. And then at the bottom, you'll see it says, please attach reader. So this is where you're going to physically plug the credit card swiper or the credit card reader into the device. When you do that, if it's the first time you've plugged in the reader, or may happen after an update, you may see something like this. It's just asking for the program asking for your permission to use the headphone jack to transmit the credit card information. So you want to say OK there, otherwise you won't be able to process the card. And then it'll go in the connecting process. Occasionally you may see something like this, connecting with Unimag or connecting with whatever timed out. One thing I always suggest is check your headphone jack volume. So with the credit card swiper plugged in, hold up on the device's up volume and just make sure it's at the max. That's suggested by any credit card swiper. So you want to make sure of that, and you just tap on try again. Sometimes you may have to physically unplug the reader and plug it in again. So there's a couple different things if you ever have some difficulty the communication between the credit card swiper and the device itself. So once it's connected, then you'll see this swipe card now, swipe card now to process payment. So you just go ahead and swipe the card, and when you do that, you want to make sure that the magnetic strip is pointing the correct way, and there will be an indicator on the credit card swiper itself to show where the magnetic strip or which way the magnetic strip should face. The swipe was successful. Would you like to process this payment? Well, of course, that's why we swiped the card. So say yes, and it's just going to give you, you'll see in the background, it'll put in the applicable information up there, and that'll just say, hey, your payment of whatever amount has been processed successfully. If you want to email a receipt, go ahead and say yes, and then you'll have a field to put in the to address. So if nothing populates there automatically. Go ahead and put in whatever the customer, whatever email address the customer gives you. You could enter more than one. Just make sure you separate multiple email addresses by either a comma or semicolon. And then once you're ready to send the email, click on the paper airplane or tap on the paper airplane icon in the upper right, and it'll let you know that the email has been sent. At this point, you could capture the signature if you didn't capture a signature already. If you want to send an email of the invoice or ticket or possibly just a receipt, you can do that. Just tap on the paper airplane icon in the upper right. And notice by default here, the type of email is full ticket / invoice, basically indicating it's going to show all the line items that are on the invoice. Now, especially in warranty work, you may only want them to get a receipt or something showing the history notes of what was done. So in that case, if you don't want them to see all the prices and line items, go ahead and tap on full ticket / invoice. Notice full ticket / invoice is checked by default. So just go ahead and tap on the second line down there, payment receipt. And that'll return you to the send email screen. And now what you would be emailing is a payment receipt. So again, that wouldn't show the price breakdown. It will just show the history notes and basically acts as another receipt for the customer. Once you do that, then you're all ready to wrap up. You can go ahead and just close this out by clicking on the check mark in the upper right hand corner. So that's just a general idea of how you could process a credit card payment based on what we know of how many customers are currently doing it. If you have any questions, let us know. Go on our live chat online at www.myserviceforce.com. Click on any of the live chat links, or of course email us at support@myserviceforce.com.